Okay, I don't take questions really, but I do have one small, well, it's one announcement today. Matt Strom, who had a provision in his contract that at the end of the season, he would need to take a physical to have his contract guaranteed for next year. We did that yesterday, so we have advised him that his contract is guaranteed for next year, so we have done that. We've filed all the official notifications in that regard. So that's the only announcement I have, so I'm open to any questions.
Is that always supposed to be after the postseason, or do you guys adjust that?
No, it was always played regular season. Yeah, the regular season.
You said around the deadline that, like, you can make trades, but you can't redo the whole lineup, and some guys internally needed to improve. Are you surprised by how much some of those guys, Stott and Kepler, did improve after the trade deadline?
No, I'm not surprised, because we always thought that they were very solid players and that they, I mean, you hear the expression all the time. I mean, I've heard it my whole career. Look at the back of the bubblegum card. It's generally quite true, though. And so, I mean, you see a little bit. I mean, Kepler's not what he was the one particular year, but, you know, overall, I think that they've come back to be the players and had the type of season. We can throw Brandon Marsh in there, too. So I think that they've come back and played like we would be, or hopeful they would do.
What goes into the patience with players like that? Because there was a time earlier this season where they really looked pretty dismal, and then it turned on at some point for each of them.
Well, this is if we ran through players every club like people wanted us to, you wouldn't have any players. That's the real reality of it. And I mean, I've had really, really good players go through some really tough patches and come back and be MVPs and be, I mean, so you have to realize it's the ups and down natures of it. And it's hard. You just keep looking at it, but sometimes you have to look at sometimes we know somebody may be hurting a little bit that you don't know. They don't want it to be known. Sometimes you're in a position where they're just bat speed's not quite as quick, but you know it's there. Sometimes it's just as quick as ever, but they're chasing more pitches. Breaking ball's not quite as good as it is at other times. Command's not quite as good. What's causing it? But you just have to realize that. Now, what's the hard part is when you look at somebody and then you say, well, they're through. But, you know, I've been wrong on those things, too. It's really hard. I mean, I'll tell you the story one time, and this goes way back before most of you were even born. But I remember 1983, I was with the Chicago White Sox, and I was assistant general manager at that time. And I was jogging in the afternoon. I used to do quite often with Tony La Russa. We were jogging through the Bridgeport neighborhoods. And about May 20-something, Carlton Fisk was hitting 160. And everybody said, geez, you know, it looks like you're going to get him out of the lineup, you're going to get him out of there, it looks like he's done, and all that. Well, he made a little adjustment, and Tony was struggling with it too, saying, gee, Pudge is really scuffling, drop him down in the order. Well, he made a little adjustment with his swing with Charlie Lau, and he ended up second in the league in MVP and played for 10 more seasons. So, I mean, you just have to really to be careful before you make it, because it's such a difficult game to play and so many ups and downs. But you do have to have patience, and patience can be tough, but you have to have it.
Why do you think this team is maybe better positioned to win a World Series than the previous three that you've?
Well, you know, it's
what do you like, I guess?
Well, I mean, we have a good club. We have as good a club as to me as anybody. I think we're a well-rounded club. We've been there before. I'm not so sure that. I mean, we've had experience now for a couple of years. But we have some really good players that have had good seasons when you start looking at the Schwarbses and the Turners. And the supporting cast, I think, is deeper in the lineup. I think a guy like Bader's brought a lot to us. I think when you look at our lineup, I don't think you look at one spot and say, wow, there's an out there that's we play solid defense. Our starting pitching is deep. And I think right now our bullpen's probably a little bit better than it's been at various times. It's the first time since I've been here, and I know everybody says, well, go get a closer, and Estevez, he's leading the league in saves, as I pointed out. So it's not like was not a good closer. But I think we have a legitimate closer, and then we built around that, and our bullpen guys have thrown the ball well from the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So now when I say that, you have to play well at the right time, and you have to be in a position where you don't want it to be 3 and done. I mean, it can happen to anybody, really. I mean, even worse when you're playing a 3-game series and 2 games could knock you out. But you have to play well at the right time, but I think we're more equipped to do that.
How much do you think playoff baseball is different than the regular season? How much does having a set closer maybe change how you guys can script things? I know you're not managing in the games.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think anytime you have somebody who's a dominant 9th-inning guy or a guy it's helpful for you. I mean, because then you can script around that. But I've also been in the postseason where we haven't had that and been able to kind of work around and manipulate some of your starters to your bullpen. Now, you never know how it's going to be. That's the thing. You never know how a starter's going to pitch out of the bullpen. But it has worked at times, too. So I think anytime you have that guy that you just give the ball to and everybody goes out there, they feel good about. But there are different ways you can manipulate your bullpen in the postseason.
How big an advantage is this week by the way that you guys are using it?
Well, it's an advantage if you win the first series, and it's a disadvantage if you don't. Well, I think it's an advantage in the sense for us. There's probably some guys, I mean, say, for example, a guy like Turner gives a little extra time to get ready. And you can set your rotation up as you want, where you maybe wouldn't have been able to do that. So I think there's advantages. And I think our guys, you know, they played a lot of games, our guys, so I don't think it hurts them to have it. So we'll look at to use it to our advantage. There's a lot of, they're going to start today, a lot of things they're going to do. They'll work on fundamentals. They'll do all the things we need to do. Tomorrow will be kind of a fun day here, but also a business day for our guys to really see some good pitching against one another. So I think it's an advantage. The biggest advantage is that you're not going out there and playing a 3-game series in which anything can happen. I mean, you know, we've done it twice. We've been fortunate to win both of those times since I've been here. But it's still on the back of your mind when you're playing a short series like that. Anything can happen.
What time does roster have to be set?
Well, not until Saturday at whatever time period. They haven't given us even the time yet.
Do you feel strongly either way about a 12-man pitching staff or a 13-man pitching staff, a 5-game series with an extra day off between games 1 and 2?
We've discussed it, and you know, I mean, we've got thought processes which way we're going to go, but not ready to make that announcement yet.
Who's at the Stay Ready camp at Lehigh?
Well, you're going to see them all here. I'm trying to think. We got Caleb Ricketts is from a catcher perspective. We got pitchers Hoffman. We've got Johnson. We've got who's the third one off the? There's 3 of them that. Pardon me. Yeah, I said Hoffman, Johnson, and Ron Hell is here. Yes, good job. And then Ricketts is the catcher. We've got Lantigua's here. We've got Walton here. We've got Rojas is here, but he's not ready to participate. He's going to have to get more. His quad is still bothering him. But we think for the next series he would be fine, so he's going to work on a rehab perspective. Is that it, Kevin? I think that's it. Yes. Yeah.
So no Rojas or Diaz on the hospital.
Correct. He will not be.
The core of this team has been together for 3 or 4 years. You have some prominent free agents, you have some guys lurking in the minor leagues. Could this be the last time we see this core, as it presently is, kind of chase a title in the postseason?
Well, could it be? For sure. I mean, I'm hopeful that we'll retain most of the guys, if not all of the guys, but I'm also realistic that it's not going to be easy. But we like our core, and we're hopeful to keep them with us. But that's a story for another day that will go, because we do have a lot of free agents, I think, when you look at it, and all different level of guys, because you got the stars, and you also have some back end of the guys in the pitching staff that are in that situation. So, but I also that we do have some young players in our minor league system that are on the verge of playing that are really we're excited about. So I think that we'll be in a position that as we go into next year, and this isn't a conversation for next year yet because we're still worried about this year, but some of those young players will be ready to play for us, and we're excited about having them with us.
He's not in the mix this fall, but what do you think? What do you make of Andrew Painter's first season back from Tommy John?
Well, I think Andrew had a solid year. I mean, he went out there every 5 days, basically all year long. He pitched over 100 innings. Felt good at the end of the year. His stuff was still good. His command wasn't quite as good. So we thought it was a very solid season for him, and be in a position where we think he'll come to camp next year and be in a position where he can compete for a spot. So that's really an encouraging type of scenario for him.
Do you
And
regret,
he's healthy too. I mean, he's healthy and feels good.
do you
You
regret
mentioned
putting
Bader
the,
earlier, and when you got him, did he bring more than you anticipated? And if so, what was it?
Well, I mean, we thought he was a good player.
Mhm.
And we thought he could play for sure defensively in center field. He could hit right and left-hand pitching. We knew he was an energy guy and he would handle the situation in Philly would not be a problem based upon playing in New York in the past. I think that the way he meshed in the clubhouse with our players was really good for our club. I think he was just a real fit with them. They all seemed to build on his energy. His offense has been really good. I mean, especially early. I don't think you could ever predict a guy to be that hot in the beginning. But he's a good hitter. He's a good all-around player. He's a threat to hit the ball at the ballpark. So he's given us a lot. I didn't know if he would play every day for us or not when we got him. We knew he had a chance to do that. But he's really developed into our everyday center fielder, and he's earned that. So he's done a lot.
How much did that energy play into the decision to trade for him? Like, did you feel that was something that was needed in the clubhouse at that moment?
No, not really. That was not the reason behind it. The reason behind it is we needed a right-handed hitter to play in the outfield. That we also, it was an advantage to play center field too, because we thought that in his situation, Rojas could play defensively in center field, and we like a lot of things about him, but from an offensive perspective, he wasn't contributing much. So for us, it was a position to add somebody like that was the most important part of it. And also we did think that he would handle the atmosphere and pressure well, which was important. But we didn't bring him in from the energy perspective. It's just an added plus that he's brought along that's fit in well.
As far as the layout goes, I mean, advantages, there's also clearly some disadvantages. But especially going into a short series, is there any part of you that wishes this was a 7-game series that you guys would be playing, especially given the long layoff?
Not really. I mean, you're in a position, you know what the rules are and all that. So I wish we never lost a game. But it's not practical type of thing. So no, not really.
with Painter, do you regret putting like the July-ish timeline out there? Did that maybe?
Well, I think that, and I've talked to a couple guys about that. If you read and you look back, I said he would be able to join. I didn't say he was going to join. Those are significant, and some people have written it differently than others. But if you go back and even look, I said, and he was ready to join. So no, not at all, because he was ready to join, and that's what we were looking to do. There was never the say that he was, and it was always made, you told him in the very beginning, behind the scenes, just remember, you still got to perform, there's got to be a spot. So all that was very clear to him. But I think others took it and ran with it that he was coming up then, but that was never said that he was coming. He was capable of coming.
Obviously,
Significantly different.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't needed, but
Right.
injury aside, did you think Justin Crawford would have been ready to play in the majors this year?
Yes. Yeah, well, I would have felt very comfortable if Justin Crawford, we would have had to bring him up at some point. Really, any time. Actually, when I was there, which was, I'm trying to think, beginning of June, when the club was Pittsburgh, Toronto. Is that the beginning of June, Kevin, our trip? Yeah. So I saw him then for a week, and I would have felt very comfortable at that time bringing him up. In fact, we talked about it at the time, but the need wasn't there at that particular time. And so we always had said if he was coming up, he was going to play, need to play every day. And just how we settled in, but would have felt very comfortable to do so and think very comfortably that he will have a chance to compete for a spot next spring.
You guys have always had kind of a set it and forget it lineup where you have your regulars, but this year, you have a couple spots where Rob, has the precedent at least of swapping guys in and out. Obviously, there's benefits to having guys that you rely on every day, but is there a benefit to having kind of a fungible, at least a couple spots in the lineup that you can adjust based on matchup?
Well, yeah, and I think that's more the way of baseball in the 2020s. It's been more like that. There's very few clubs that are putting the same 9 guys out there on an everyday basis. So just how we have shaped up, it's been something that he's felt more comfortable doing. He's had more probably choices to do that. So if it makes you, but you should always put the best club you can out there to try to win. And that's really been emphasized to him and everybody we have in the organization. It gets people more involved when they're doing that from a bench perspective. perspective. But I feel very comfortable in that regard. I think we have there's usually most clubs, in fact, I see we get advanced scouting reports sent to us in preparation of every series. I've already received it of the two clubs, and they have a left-hand hitting lineup versus a left-hand pitcher and a right-handing. I mean, it's just the way of the 20s, and feel very good about it.
But you guys in particular, I'm thinking Kepler and Castellanos in particular was a little bit of grumbling at some point. Obviously veterans are going to think that they need to be in the lineup every day to stay sharp. Was there I know Rob's the manager, but organizationally, was there at the deadline like a intentional strategy to kind of be like, look, we got to get these guys comfortable shuttling in and out. This is what makes us best.
Well, I think when we got Bader, we had talked about it was going to be necessary to look at that, because otherwise you weren't going to acquire somebody and then have the other three guys play all the time. So, and how it all worked together, I thought he handled that tremendously, and it worked out. So no, I can't say there was like a per se organization, but I mean, I think that, it's always tough, and I know you get things and get information and write it. I can't tell you I've been with a club in 35 years or 37 years as a general manager that I haven't had grumblings. Comes with the territory. Sometimes you hear about it, sometimes you don't hear about it. I will tell you there's never been a club I've had that hasn't had it. So that's just the way it is. And so sometimes it gets out and you deal with it more, but it's part of it. Guys that are used to playing every single day, all of a sudden they're not playing quite as well. Somebody's coming back from an injury, they want to come back more quickly. Sometimes the guys are at a different stage of their career and they're not quite at that same point to be able to do that. They're never happy about it. And I get it. I mean, you wouldn't want people to be in a position where they're just jumping up and down to see me now. Oh, good, I'm not going to play every day. I mean, that's not how you want them to be. But it's just really part of the way we do it. And sometimes, again, it probably gets out more publicly than you choose. But I really have. In fact, a lot of times I'm amazed it doesn't get out more, because we deal with so much of it. And again, it's not just here, it's been my whole career, but I think the guys in general in the clubhouse do a pretty good job at keeping things in the clubhouse.
What was the initial feedback on Wheeler's surgery?
Great. Everything went well. Everything went very efficient. He's supposed to be here today or tomorrow, or both. Not to work out, but to be checked out. But surgery went great. Doctor was very happy with it. He'll go back, I think, in another month to get rechecked, but so far so good.
Do you have starting pitchers for the inter-squad game tomorrow?
You'd have to ask Topper on that one. I don't know what he's got.
There's conversations every year about how the playoffs can be fluky or random. How do you think this team is built with certain strengths that maybe are more important in the postseason will help you avoid those types of upsets?
Well, I've never been an advocate of the philosophy that it's just a flip of the coin on what takes place. I do realize in a short series the odds can be different, because a ball that bloops in can cost you a game, and it's a best of game 3 series. It's different than if it's over 162 games. So that makes total sense. But I still think you try to build your club certain ways for postseason. Part of it is I like having good starting pitching, and I think we have that. But I've had really good starting pitching and lost. So I mean, it's just kind of how it goes. So I do think there's things you can do to try to build your. We can hit the ball in the ballpark, but we also have speed, and that's good. I think our bullpen's deep this year. It's sometimes you give to take, and to certain spots, it's one of the deeper bullpens that I've been associated with going into the postseason. But it's like last year, we were up 1-0 and going to the 8th inning, and our bullpen had really been very good. And they had a couple of guys had a bad outing, and then all of a sudden didn't come across as well as we'd have liked. So you have to have things go well, and you have to sometimes get a break or two, but play well at the right time.
How would you evaluate Bryce's season individually? He had a first thing early in the season. He had great numbers, but not typical Bryce numbers. How would you evaluate his season?
Well, I don't know. I'm here to evaluate all the guys, but I mean, Bryce Harper's a really good player. Probably his numbers aren't as big as what you have seen other years, but when he comes up to the plate, like at this time of year as well as any time of the year, he's always a threat to get something done. He's one of the better players, better hitters in the league. He's very good at first base. He maybe hasn't put, and when I say that, he's put up MVP years. So So it's not an MVP type of year, but he's still a really good player.
You guys,
Really good player.
however it breaks, you guys can face some tough lefties.
Mhm.
Do you think you're better constructed now than you were a year ago to kind of handle those guys?
I hope so. We'll see. But I think that's where, like, what we said at the trading deadline, when we were sitting there, we're not coming out of here without a right-hand hitting outfielder. We're going to get somebody because we need to get that help for us in the postseason. So, I mean, when you look around your club, well, you still, and it's always tough because when we've talked about it, and I do think that makes a difference, but Schwarber and Harper hit lefties about as well as anybody can, and they're both efficient. But then you say, okay, where are you from a right-handed hitting perspective? Well, you look around, you got JT, you got Bohm, you've got Turner, you're in a position, Castellanos, you got Bader, Sosa's, hits him very well. So we've got a lot of right-handed hitters to do that. So I do think we're in a position we're better off with the addition of Bader, the continued growth. I mean, Sosa's had a good year, particularly lately. Well, he had it earlier, and then he came back here lately. So I do think that we're more equipped to do that. But there was a conscious decision to do it.
Circling back to Bryce for a minute, he's always been a good postseason player. I mean, he's a great player. But
Sure.
He's always been. What do you think it is about him that enables him to kind of rise in October? And some great players can do that, and there are other great players that tend to struggle in October.
Well, you're right, and there are some guys that just cherish those moments. I mean, that not that they're not always focused, but they take it to another level, and nothing really phases them. I don't know if you've ever been a spot. I mean, I've been on a much less, but where you don't even, in some ways, hear the crowd. I mean, you're so focused on what's taking place, and I think that's Bryce. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dave, I knew what you meant by the July-ish timeline. I just wanted to get it clear.
Yeah.
Because I know it has been kind of